Hello folks, welcome to Andrew's Interviews. This is a brand new segment on Background Noise where I'm going to ask the questions that maybe some people are too afraid to ask. Now for my very first installment of this brand new series, I've got an exclusive interview with Alberto Gonzalez. Now this man is making a new film called 50 Bags of Grey, and I'm very excited to say that we are the first people, I'm the only one here actually, who will get a first-hand look as to what this new movie is going to have to offer. So first of all, I want to say thank you so much for being here, Thomas. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
So 50 Bags of Grey. I don't know much about this movie, but why don't you go ahead and set it up for us?
This movie is a romanticism of Earl Grey, or as he's also known, the Earl of Grey's personal life after the advent of Earl Grey tea. It basically follows him through the escapades that he would have on his estate with both his personal friends and otherwise.
So, Franklin, can you tell me a little bit about the history as to what Earl Grey, or the Earl of Grey, was actually like in his life historically?
Earl Grey famously would invite about 20 or 30 people over to his property and then teabag each and every one of them. It was sort of a fun, festive thing that he would do, although it did result in him getting into a lot of hot water with the law and other such things.
Okay.
Luckily, because of the advent of Earl Grey tea, he had quite an immense amount of wealth at his disposal, which meant that the police and the legal system could not be fully enforced on him, as he was able to control much of the area in which he resided. Primarily, the plot will focus on the Earl of Grey's relationship with one of his servants, delving into a very deeply intimate and somewhat sexual relationship with a young boy named Fernando. It should be noted that actually my great-great-great-grandfather famously spoke of how he was once teabagged by the Earl of Grey, and how it was one of the most astounding points in his entire life. I've actually written this entire film, and I will be directing and starring in the film. The early problems that I faced were not only monetary, but also getting counterparts to do most of the scenes with me. Many of them were intimidated, I assume, by my immense stature and talents, that they were fearful of making mistakes around me. But I attempted to make everyone comfortable by walking around the set naked every day, and showing up sometimes to their homes naked in order to make them feel more comfortable around me.
Now, while I may not know too much about the movie's plot, although you've explained seemingly quite a bit of it there, I have been seeing in the media that you've been getting a lot of attention for the risque behavior in this movie. Some people even saying that it's maybe a little bit too hot to be put in movie theaters. What do you have to say about people who criticize you for that?
I have seen the tabloids saying that this movie is grossly offensive and borderline pornographic, but I feel that in order to properly express the art and the history of what happened with the Earl of Grey, that it is of course necessary to depict it accurately, with as many nude scenes with me as possible. Using new computer technology, we were actually able to create a 3D map of my entire nude body, which of course I have already taken the liberty of forwarding to your personal email. I suggest that you check it immediately. Just, let me know what you think. It's nothing to do with the movie.
Wow. Well, it's very, very provocative, I'm starting to see now why you haven't been interviewed by anyone else. This is sort of an eye-opener. And again, if I had a staff, they would probably be in some hot water right now. I think some people would be losing their jobs over this interview.
Well, in the event that any of your staff were to lose their jobs, or perhaps you yourself, if you would like to come back to my estate, we could talk, maybe share some tea. I'm quite good at the preparation.
So Franklin, this is your debut film. Are you planning on doing any other projects in the near future, or is there anything else already maybe in the works, or anything that you would just like to work on, given the opportunity to do so?
Well, a sequel could be possible depending on the success of 50 Bags of Grey. I am hoping, in light of some of the recent superhero movies, that I would be cast, perhaps strictly as an actor, to work in some of these. For example, I am immensely looking forward to seeing Black Cat appearing in a new Spider-Man movie. I feel that's a role that I would be very well suited for, given my experience and talents. Also, I am interested in making a theatrical version of Thomas the Tank Engine, where, of course, he will be naked the entire time, exposing all of his inner workings of his steam vessel. He was a coal train, so his engine, of course, would be very robust and strong, and I think that would resonate well with younger people who grew up watching the television series, with Ringo Starr, of course, reprising his role.
Well, Tony, thank you for whatever that was. I don't know. Good luck with your movie. I gotta say, I had the presumption that this movie was going to be about Earl Grey tea, or the history of, not whatever that is that you just described, because in all honesty, I have no idea.
Speaking of which, if there are any women interested in personal reading of the script, you can contact me at the number below. Could you put it up anyway, please?
I'd love to thank you for being on the show, but quite frankly, this being the first segment, I'm not terribly thrilled with how this has gone. So I'm just going to have to ask you to leave.
Well, I don't see why this is such a big deal. I just wanted to be friends with you, and I hoped maybe we could share something intimate together.
No, just sit down, okay? We don't need to... This doesn't need to become a thing.
Fair enough. Okay, well... it's been a pleasure doing this with you. In case you're wondering, I'm not wearing any clothes underneath this jacket. If maybe you and I could turn the cameras off, or keep them rolling, I don't really care either way.
Alright, well, I'll see you in hell then. Well, that was our first interview. Not entirely sure... I don't even think that guy was an actual filmmaker, let alone an actor or any other sort of sane person. But hopefully my next guest will be a little bit better. We have a few guests lined up, although who's next, I don't know. You can always interact with us, tell us what you thought of the interview, maybe even post questions to a potential future interviewee. Do whatever you want, guys. It's the internet. Just do something, because this took a lot longer than my normal segments. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us on Andrew's Interviews. And yeah, I'm hoping that... I gotta take a shower. I feel disgusting. What? I still have pants on.